Hi folks, welcome to Greg's Workshop. I'm Greg, and today we're going to be turning these two pieces of firewood into a mallet. We'll start off talking about the wood. So you can see I've cut an end off here. This dark part is what's known as the heartwood. It's generally darker, harder, stronger, and more rot resistant. This outer part here, this lighter colored part, is called the sapwood. It's generally weaker, generally less rot resistant, a little bit lighter weight. So we need to cut this just like that. And to do that, we're going to use a chainsaw. Got it in the vise here. You can see there's kind of a line right about here where it goes from heartwood to sapwood. We're going to take the chainsaw, cut right through that, and we'll mill out the rest.
An added benefit of an electric chainsaw is that you can use it inside without worrying about exhaust and carbon monoxide poisoning. They're not super powerful, but they work well enough. Give them a shot.
Now that we have the rough cutting done, we're going to flatten it out on the joiner. So we've chainsawed this edge flat, jointed it flat as well. Jointed a flat spot on this side as well, so it'll right against the fence here. I'm going to run it through the table saw, like so, get it squared up. Have both of our maple blanks squared. Got them squared off on the ends. We're going to rip these into chunks about 3/4 of an inch wide and laminate it back together into a head.
After seeing untold other YouTubers using this gripper push block, I decided I needed one, and I can't regret it. It's really great. It works really well for stuff like this.
Alright, I've got a mark 5 inches right here. We're going to cut these at the same time so they're the exact same length. These will be the outsides of the mallet head. Then we'll come up here, cut 2 more pieces for the middle, and we'll get it assembled.
Here I'm resetting the miter saw to cut a 1-degree bevel. This is so that we have some taper in the head for the handle to sit in and be secure.
We're going to be doing the glue up here on my drill press table. Kind of an odd place to do it, except this is a good 90 and I need this space to clamp all this together. So we've got the outer piece, thin piece of sapwood to give it some interest. The 2 middle pieces, they're cut at a 1-degree outward angle, so they're going to be kind of like that. The handle's going to come up through here, and we're going to drive a wedge in so it'll split and we'll hold the handle in. And then of course the other 2 pieces on the other side. We're going to let that glue set up for at least 24 hours, maybe longer if I'm not able to get to it tomorrow. Before we quit for the day, we're going to rip out the handle. I need a chunk about 1 inch by 1.25 inches, give or take. This is the other chunk of the heartwood from the other piece of plywood, and I think we'll be able to get what we need out of this. Everything's clamped up. I'm going to let it dry, come back again later. been a few days. This is nice and dry. Planed off the top a little bit on the joiner. I'm going to smooth that up later. Now we're going to take it to the table saw, and we're going to get it cut down to width, and then we'll get the handle built. Top and bottom are milled. You need to cut off the ends to get them square. We're going to make them tapered eventually, but for right now they just need to be square. Then we'll work on the handle. So I have my fancy rabbiting jig made up, some scrap wood. This piece right here is the handle. We need to cut rabbets. We need to narrow it up this way, and then cut a slot down here. We're going to sneak up on it. I want this to be a nice tight fit in the hole here. So we'll give it a shot. We'll unclamp it. We'll see if it slides in there widthwise, and then once we get done with that, we will cut it, I guess, the other widthwise, the longer dimension. Make sure it fits. Alright, got that first cut made. See how it fits widthwise. And it just fits nice and tight. Give that maybe just a couple quick passes with the sander just to get it to fit a little bit better, but that's pretty much where we want it. Now, we need to cut the shoulders here and here to get it to fit this way. Moment of truth. A little tight. That's okay. That's how we want it. Going to get a slit cut here for the wedge, and then we'll go ahead and shape this, round off the corners of this, put it together.
I forgot to hit record for this cut, but here it is.
So I'd considered maybe cutting a taper in here to make it a little more comfortable. I think the overall size is pretty good. It's about 1 inch wide, about 1 1/4 inch long or deep, I guess. So I'm going to take this 1/4 inch round over bit. We're just going to round over all the edges, see how it feels in the hand, and hopefully get it assembled.
I know I've said it before, but this trim router table is a handy tool to have.
So that actually feels really good in the hand. I think that'll be a good size, a good round over size. We still have the shoulder up here, so the head won't go down too far. Probably going to clean that up a little bit. You can see there's some saw blade marks. We'll clean that up probably with a utility knife. We need to get a wedge cut, and then we'll get it all assembled.
I'm cutting a 5-degree taper on both faces of the mallet head. And now for the sanding. Starting with 120 grit to remove the saw marks, and finishing with 220 to give it a nice smooth finish and ease over the edges. Using the same 120-220 combination for the handle. Lastly, some hand sanding to smooth out the round over. It fits.
So the inside of the mallet, where the handle goes, is tapered, 1 degree per side, 2 degrees total. We need to make a wedge that's going to take up that space, spread that out so that it holds in place. What I've done is I've taken my blade, I've set it at 5 degrees. We're going to make a pass through here, and we're going to set it to 0. We're going to make another pass through on the outside. whatever final width we need, and then we'll cut it off and pound it in. For finish, we're going to be using boiled linseed oil. Normally I'd just get some on a rag, rub it on. I don't have any gloves, I don't want to get my hands all oily and gross. So I've got this cap from some expansion foam, a little linseed oil in there. Going to use a brush, get it on, and then we'll wipe it off after a few minutes. Alright, so we'll give that 10 minutes to soak in, and we'll wipe it off with a rag. It'll be all done. The wood for the actual mallet came from my in-laws' yard. We had a big ice storm this last February, and their maple tree came down. So they had it cut up into firewood, and he gave me a couple pieces along with these chisels so that I could build that mallet. It's been about 10 minutes. Spent that time cleaning up the shop. Always clean up your shop after a project. Get this excess oil wiped off, see how it looks. Here it is, all its glory. I really like the way those accents, sapwood accents, turned out. The wedge is also sapwood, although it ended up being a little bit different color, kind of in between the heartwood and the sapwood. I'm really going to enjoy using this mallet. Folks, I hope today's project inspired you to build something like this. Took a couple pieces of common firewood, milled them down, got them cut to shape and to length, laminated together, got everything done. You really can make some beautiful stuff out of firewood, or regular lumber for that matter. If you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you get notified on new videos every Saturday morning, leave a comment, I promise I'll respond, and I'll see you next week on Greg's Workshop.